Superpollutants, such as methane and black carbon, are global warming contaminants more potent than carbon dioxide. Hydrofluorocarbons, HFCs, are another superpollutant, most commonly used as refrigerants in cooling appliances. HFCs are one of the fastest-growing greenhouse gases. These gases have a global warming potential thousands of times higher than carbon dioxide. HFCs and other fluorinated gases are responsible for 2% of global GHG emissions. Substitutes for HFCs include natural refrigerants such as ammonia, carbon dioxide, and propane. North American supermarkets are slow to uptake HFC alternatives due to lax regulations compared to Europe or Japan. Climate-friendly supermarkets, CFS, is an initiative by the Environmental Investigation Agency, EIA, to map the use of refrigerants by supermarkets worldwide. Similarly, the EIA's Supermarket Scorecard rates grocery stores on their actions to reduce emissions of hydrofluorocarbons. These campaign elements connect as two prongs of an overall strategy to get supermarkets to stop using fluorinated gases. Avipsa is the climate campaign lead for the EIA. She has significant experience in this sector and has worked for the EIA for a decade. Avipsa and the EIA team drew upon their extensive history of observational experience and first-hand research into the refrigerants industry to better understand the stakeholders involved. As we are all consumers, the EIA could directly empathize with the average shopper's dilemma of trying to find climate-friendly supermarkets in various locations. Communities and organizations are asking how they can take action on the issue of refrigeration management and superpollutants. Research for the Supermarket Scorecard was a more nuanced process because it involved assessments and additional communication challenges. Therefore, the EIA sent out a survey to the supermarket companies and used a rubric analysis to decipher the optimal method to present their findings. The core problem the EIA was trying to solve is making invisible and harmful HFC gases visible to people, especially those active in climate action. For the EIA, this was always a human-centered problem. The general public lacks the expertise to gauge the local supermarket's commitment to refrigeration management and alternative refrigerants. Part of the problem is that information transparency has been missing in supermarkets. Previously, the EIA had published reports that targeted supermarkets directly, such as the Dirty Dozen in 2013. That report ranked the worst offending American supermarkets for emitting harmful refrigerants. The intent was to bring supermarkets on board to be concerned about their emissions and address HFCs. However, the grocery corporations did not appreciate the negative publicity. Hence, the EIA envisioned the idea of climate-friendly supermarkets as a more effective and impactful means of influencing supermarket retailers. The objective of the CFS website is to serve as a tool for future advocacy that stakeholders could present to industry and governments. Climate-friendly supermarkets succeeded because it used crowdsourced knowledge, engaged more stakeholders, and equipped shoppers to decentralize emissions information. Furthermore, this is a more human-centered design approach as shoppers directly discuss refrigeration accountability with store management. Alternative ideas that the EIA team considered or executed previously include informative videos, social media campaigns, and investigations using leak detectors. According to Avipsa, there is room for almost all these initiatives. However, the determining factor should be the outcome you seek to generate from the campaign. Whereas previous reports sought to raise awareness, contributing to the CFS website is much more engaging. It drives more interest via the user's journey to visit the local supermarket, investigate the fridge label, and submit the photo data. The team took a risk because the crowdsourcing process presumes more effort from the audience. Nevertheless, CFS worked because many users care about addressing refrigerants and are willing to contribute to the cause. Building upon their existing supermarkets' refrigerants data, the team ran a beta version of the website for a few weeks. The development team also tested the prototype site with their colleagues and families. Even though the CFS beta had global capacity, the team intentionally launched a smaller version and expanded later. A limited release allowed the EIA team to do more testing and incorporate feedback. One example is keeping things simple to communicate visual information effectively. Many of climate-friendly supermarkets' UX and UI directions stem directly from user feedback. After the US launch, CFS spread to the rest of North America and eventually worldwide. To support expansion into Canada, the EIA collaborated with the climate action groups Drawdown BC and Drawdown Toronto. These organizations are generating support to address refrigerants and help populate CFS with data on Canadian grocery stores. Beyond gathering more data, the next steps for the Drawdown groups and EIA include: 1. Approach the supermarket industry to commit to greater transparency and utilization of natural refrigerants. 2. Investigate corporate refrigerant management practices, including other sectors such as professional hockey. 3. Identify government policies and actions to accelerate the adoption of alternative refrigerants. Visit climatefriendlysupermarkets.org to learn more about how you can help address refrigerants and reduce greenhouse gas emissions in your local area.